Chapter 2151 Zhu Yu's Hunting Ground. Zhu Yu hid in the vast Wulwan Empire and targeted those who were weaker than her. Her ability to completely take over another person's body, occupying their physical body and memories, cannot be detected by any advanced equipment. Unless it is a rule-based arrow like Yang Xinshin's, forcing her to admit it herself, who can know who she is? She roamed the Wulwan Empire, ruthlessly hunting every prey worth hunting. Basically, as long as the ability index exceeds 8,000 points, she will kill it without mercy and then devour its origin, including its abilities. It actually takes some time to digest, so it is not a good thing to keep swallowing. However, the Wulwan Empire launched a full-scale hunt for him, which somewhat annoyed Zhu Yu. The people of the Wulwan Empire are not all mediocre. There are also many highly intelligent investigative experts among them who use various methods to hunt down and intercept them. Through the Eye of Heaven network, it was gradually confirmed that Zhu Yu possessed the ability to possess and transform. As a result, the entire country is now on high alert because of this strange killer. The security department of the Wulwan Empire took action to implant life chips in every citizen and test them one by one. The chips in these people's bodies are connected to their vital signs. Anyone who discovers anything abnormal will be discovered immediately by the Imperial Security Department. Because Zhu Yu's possession is time-limited, the flesh of the lizard men killed by her will begin to rot within 3 days. So, when she started looking for new prey, she was inevitably exposed to the Imperial Security Department. The hunt begins. Zhu Yu's next opponent was the special executive officer sent by the Imperial Security Department and the Military Investigation Agency. But during the battle, the people of the Wulwan Empire discovered how terrifying this guy was. Because it is impossible to collect information about her. She possesses at least 500 different abilities, rendering all our intelligence completely ineffective. Any ability that attempts to target her will be defeated by her restraining abilities. 3 of the executors we sent out have been killed. Bad information flew to the top of the empire like a piece of paper. When Klot returned to the Wulwan Empire, he faced exactly this situation. When he heard the news, he didn't care much. As long as those at the highest levels of the empire are still there, the unrest below will not shake the foundation, but will only cause chaos at the social level. Zhu Yu was very smart and did not blindly attack the alien at the level of Silver Armored General. It's not that I can't beat him. Instead, they have gathered a group of powerful forces around them, and they can also mobilize the defense forces of the Wulwan Empire. That is equipment that is more powerful than human space-based weapons. The holder can even threaten bishop-level aliens within the Wulwan Empire. Klot came to find Jing Lu and explained his purpose to him. Those humans are more greedy and cautious than we imagined. According to the intelligence we've gathered, that human with the attributes of time and space is an extremely despicable fellow who's able to hide himself. If we want to lure him out, we have to invest more resources to tempt him. Upon hearing this, Jing Lu frowned and asked Klot, "You've spent a lot of time and energy setting up traps. Are you sure you can kill him?" In the past, he probably wouldn't ask such a question. Because when he first came into contact with humans, he saw with his own eyes how weak those humans were. In terms of size alone, it looked like a pet, not to mention its level of civilization was far inferior to theirs. Just a single divine source that they discarded drove them nearly insane, like an ant finding a candy discarded by a human child. However, after experiencing various events recently, Jing Lu inexplicably developed a feeling of unease in his heart. Klot replied without hesitation, "As long as I can lure him into the trap, I will kill him." This isn't Chloe being arrogant. The strength of the extraordinary people does not only come from themselves, but also from the fact that when they have a powerful force to rely on, they can maximize the power of that force. The trap set by Klot included a space vibration device to limit Zhang Yi's displacement, and also the most advanced weapons and equipment. He even thought of the worst outcome and carried a Doomsday weapon with a power enough to destroy several large cities. He is a cautious lizard man. Jing Lu looked at Klot and finally chose to believe this outstanding duke. "All right, you can take at most 2 more sacrificial spirits. We don't have much left in stock, and we need to leave some for future generations. Clot nodded. Don't worry, I'm just borrowing these things and will bring them back intact. A dark glint flashed in the depths of his eyes. Clot complained inwardly. In the entire empire, the one who occupies the most resources is your family, Prince Zhenglu. Not only do you use them for yourself, but you also use them for your son. But what's the result? Without showing it on his face, Clot went to the royal treasury to receive the sacrificial spirit. Received 2 more sacrificial spirits. Looking at the boxes containing such important supplies, Clot felt a burning sensation in his heart. After killing that human kid, he will keep these things for himself. His talent is almost reaching its limit, and the effect of using the spirit of sacrifice is becoming weaker and weaker. The best way is to leave it to future generations. That's right, the spirit of sacrifice cannot be used infinitely. As a pure spiritual energy body, its absorption also has a limit, which depends on the capacity of the absorber himself. The more tolerant a person is, the faster he absorbs knowledge, and the higher his conversion rate. If one's own capacity is insufficient, even if one absorbs 100% of the sacrificial spirit, one may only be able to transform 20% or 30%. This is also why Zhang Yi's promotion speed is so fast. Needless to say, his own talent is extremely high, and the baptism of the Yihan tribe's spiritual ocean has directly elevated his talent to the extreme. It can be said that as long as Zhang Yi has a huge amount of spiritual power, his strength has no limit. There is a tacit understanding between Clot and Zhenglu. These sacrificial spirits are the rewards for his mission. As long as he can successfully kill Zhang Yi, Zhenglu can fully accept these resources. If it weren't for the need to stay in the Wulwan Empire, Zhenglu would have wanted to kill his enemies personally. Clot returned to the uninhabited island, and then began to frequently release signals to let the outside world know that there was a precious treasure in this place. But this time, he chose a different approach. That is, to convey this signal to the aliens in other countries. There are other countries around the southern waters. After their navy discovered this situation, they began to land on the island one after another and obtained certain resources. Chapter 2152 Charging completed. The news that there is a mineral suspected to be the source of God on the uninhabited island spread like wildfire. The news Zhang Yi received was that many world powers, including Colombia, had received the news. He just smiled and said nothing more. The lizard men were smart. After discovering that they were not in a hurry to enter the cave, they began to introduce competitors in order to give them a sense of urgency. But Zhang Yi knew very well that the lizard man's target was him. As long as he did not take action, others would not be able to get any real good things even if they went. At most, they would take away some fragments of the source of God or the spirit of sacrifice. Let them be. I want to see who has more patience. Deng Shintong sat next to Zhang Yi, and the two of them watched an old movie in the living room. Hearing Deng Shintong say this, he shrugged speechlessly. Is this the reason why you spare no effort to spread the information? A treasure was found on an uninhabited island in the southern waters, and this news was spread by Zhang Yi. According to the original development, countries around the world would receive this news later and would remain highly skeptical about the matter. After all, that uninhabited island is too close to the world's top power, Huashu Kingdom. According to the current world situation, the world is in a state of 2 superpowers and many strong countries, and Huashu Kingdom and Colombia are absolutely hegemonic countries. No one dares to offend their territory. Zhang Yi helped the lizard people and asked Deng Shintong to use the intelligence network in his hands to exaggerate the scale of the treasure. There was also a faint rumor that the Huashu Kingdom did not dare to leave its own waters easily because it had been hit by tsunamis from the Wulwan Empire one after another. What he wanted was for the strangers from other countries to take action. Zhang Yi glanced at Deng Shintong and said, "That's a trap. Their target is definitely me. But to lure me in, there must be something really good inside. The problem now is I don't want to take any risks, but I still want to get the stuff. What do you think I should do?" He held his cheek with one hand and said with a smile, "Besides, if I play with them here for a while and give them hope that they can kill me, I can reduce the burden on Huashu country. Zhang Yi didn't want the Wulwan Empire to use meteorological weapons again to attack the coastline of Huashu Kingdom. Deng Shintong looked at Zhang Yi in confusion. With your current strength, who can threaten your life unless the gatekeeper of the underworld takes action personally? Zhang Yi nodded. What I'm afraid of is that the gatekeeper of the underworld is waiting for me there. Besides him, the Wulwan Empire's advanced weapons are also a very big threat. I won't take any risks. Isn't it a good thing to let them help us explore the way first? Zhang Yi said with a smile. At this moment, Lu Karen walked into the living room from behind. There was still a fine layer of sweat on her forehead, but her face was full of excitement and joy. Brother, the charging of Ling is complete. Zhang Yi's eyes suddenly opened wide, and he sat up from the sofa. Let's go and take a look. Deng Shintong's eyes were filled with curiosity. He raised his hand and asked, Can I go and take a look? Zhang Yi glanced at him with a smile. Not yet. If you expose it too early, it will lose its mystery. Deng Shintong was somewhat helpless. Hey, I also hope that one day you can trust me without reservation, just like you trust these lovely girls. After all, I'm open-hearted to you. Zhang Yi nodded. Then you should get the surgery first and turn into a girl. Deng Shintong waved his hands repeatedly. There are so many good girls waiting for me in this world, so forget it. Deng Shintong's level of trust in Zhang Yi can only be ranked in the second tier. He is a reliable partner, but not at the level of Zhou Qier and Uncle Yu, because they are a family who have shared weal and woe for 4 years. Zhang Yi and Ling came to the underground studio. Ling stood in a charging chamber. Many pipes were connected to the charging chamber, providing her with energy continuously. There were many complicated instruments around, displaying some strings that Zhang Yi could not understand. Zhang Yi asked, What level of energy can Ling reach now? Lu Karen scratched his head and said a little embarrassedly, Ling told me herself. According to human standards, she can exert the combat power of an alien with an ability index of 55,000 points. It will not last more than 24 hours before it will decay. But even so, we've already provided her with all the energy we could squeeze out. Surprisingly, the spiritual energy provided by Deng's technology has actually been very effective. The remaining energy cannot be squeezed out because it is still needed to maintain the power supply of the mechanical army and the super battleship. In fact, this battle alone almost exhausted all our previous stocks. When Lu Karen said this, he stared at Zhang Yi cautiously, really afraid that Zhang Yi would faint. In the 4th year of the apocalypse, Zhang Yi had worked hard over the years to accumulate a large fortune. Whether it was the Yuanshe veins or the fossil fuels plundered from various places, they were all consumed in the preparation process for this huge war. Hamsters may commit suicide if they find that their winter food supply has run out. She was worried that Zhang Yi would also collapse. But Zhang Yi remained extremely calm. The power index is 55,000 points. According to the intelligence we have, it is more than enough to deal with the gatekeeper of the underworld. It doesn't matter. All the reserves are for saving lives at critical moments. It's all worth it. He still sighed. But I finally understand what Ling meant. The visible is powerless. The invisible is powerful. The most powerful energy in this world is the power of the human heart, which is also the power of ether. It sounds like a terrifying consumption, but you have to know that the destructive power of an alien with an ability index of 55,000 points is far greater than that of all the love and death gods in the entire Huashu kingdom combined. Then you will understand how worthwhile the consumption of these resources is. It doesn't matter. Zhang Yi walked over and stroked Ling's human body, which was like a work of art, with a hint of heat in his eyes. As long as we can win this war and plunder all the resources of a powerful underground civilization, we can get back tenfold, even 100-fold, of what we spent. A cold voice came. Please take your hand away. Thank you. Ling's cold eyes stabbed at Zhang Yi like a knife. Zhang Yi quickly removed his hand from Ling's perfectly sculpted thigh. Sorry. He couldn't help but mutter in his heart. It's obviously just a body. Why do you care so much? Staying with me. We'll try to get you more updates. Please like and subscribe and share the video with your friends. Love you all.